All right, hi guys. We're going to see if this works. I haven't got a clue. I can't see my screen. Am I recording? It says I am. Okay. Um, I'm going to do this as best I can. It's taken me like an hour or more to set up my camera. Um, my tripod broke. Look at this, you guys. This is the part that's supposed to connect my camera to my tripod. It has just, where am I? Right there. I'm upside down in the viewfinder, so that's weird. But yeah, that just completely snapped off. So I can't connect my camera to my tripod, so I got out my monopod, taped it to my tripod. It's the best I can do, people. Uh, I will order myself a new tripod sometime. Um, what I'm going to do today is I am going to spray paint. Follow Karen Puzzles on YouTube if you haven't already done so. And she did a video where she spray painted a puzzle and then made her own design on an old puzzle. Well, this is a puzzle I got from the thrift store. I put it together, make sure that it was all had all of its pieces. I did a sample one just to do proof of concept and make sure I didn't like glue my um, puzzle together by this with the spray paint, and it worked fine. But the puzzle I had, that puzzle from the thrift store, didn't have all its pieces. So I got another one. Cost me $1. I'm not ruining some masterpiece puzzle. It's just a cheap puzzle from the thrift store. This particular one happens to be 300 pieces. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this guy a coat of white. My white paint is not working very well, and I have no idea why. What is the... Great. Great, this has been my day. Why is my white paint just splatting instead of painting? Ay, 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 people. Come on. I'm going to turn it upside down and see if that clears the nozzle. Nope. Alrighty then. Apparently, white is not going to be my base color unless I can get more of this to spray better. Ah, it's starting to come out better. What's its issue? I used it for the whole other puzzle. It worked fine, and it's not empty. I can feel that it's not empty. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're making progress. All I want to do is just lightly cover the initial thing. I think it's the nozzle. The nozzle must be clogged. What the heck? How do you unclog a paint nozzle? I don't know. I don't have anything. I have nothing with me. See, this is why I wore my paint pants. I'll just wipe it on my pants. It's okay. Maybe just the nozzle is clogged a bit. That's entirely possible. Let's clean that off and try again. But that's why I wore my painting clothes, so I do not get enamel spray paint on my good clothes. Yeah, I think that was its issue. It's better. Okay, let's give it a good spritz, and then we will have to leave it for a little while to dry before we do another coat of something else. I really liked how my tester piece came out, so I'm going to do something similar. But you just got to give this a little quick coat, not thick. And yeah, that's it for the moment. I'll be back for either another coat or another color. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alrighty, you guys. Well, I've taken you off the tripod. no idea what happened, but apparently I did not record this whole business that I did. There's the paints I used. Here's what the puzzle currently looks like with the various colors I put on there. I put on some yellow, some kind of neon green, a bit of this sort of purple or like maroon color that kind of turns into a brownish color. It gives it a little bit of texture. And apparently you didn't see any of it because I have no idea what happened. But lost footage is lost footage. Anyways, we're going to let this dry. I have no idea what you guys are going to see. And then I will take this into my studio and we will draw on it. You know what? The life of a YouTuber. And yeah, anyway. See you guys later. Bye. And look at this ridiculous setup I had to do for my tripod. There is my monopod taped to a tripod with some rocks on my tripod so it doesn't fall over when it's at this weird angle. You know, the things I do for you guys. Anyway, yeah, I gotta buy a new tripod. See you in a few minutes. I'm gonna let this dry, and we'll take it in the studio, and we will paint on it. Bye. All right, guys, I'm back. Hopefully you see me. I don't know. I've spent nearly 2 hours trying to figure out how to get a setup so that I can see and you can see. Trying not to blind myself when I sit down here. I've got myself a variety of roundy objects that I'm going to trace around. Let's use that one too. Actually going to use a watercolor pencil to do my tracing. And I'm going to make roundy shapes. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Excuse me, I got to move that. Okay, I'm just going to do roundy shapes, and then I'm going to use a variety of combination of Posca. This is an awkward angle. Okay, Poscas and these ZSCM ones that I got. I'm going to use a combination of those and draw a variety of circles on this puzzle for my my pattern, my shape, my thing that I want to do. I'm going to just do that. I don't know if you can even see that mark, but I'm just going to do some marks with around the larger roundy base. Let me move these out of the way. Let's set them over here. It got so hot in here. It was nice and comfortable 2 hours ago in here. But now, of course, hot and sweaty. That one. That's good. I'll do 3 of that bigger size, and then maybe this size. We'll do some overlapping pieces. Let's overlap this one like this. And this one over here. Some of them are going off the edge of the page. It's exactly what I want. And then I want the next size down. Let's do this one. That one can go there and there. And the reason I used a watercolor pencil is because if I end up not using one of the lines, I can just erase it using a bit of water. Let's use the inside one on that one too. this one as well. Let's do the outside one and the inside one like that. And then let's do something this size. This is an old inkwell that has been gifted to me by my mother. We're just going to do a couple of those, maybe two. One right there. That size. And maybe a couple of small things as well. And I haven't decided which colors I'm using yet, so I'm just kind of drawing, and if I decide to use some of these with one color and some with another color, that's what I'll do. Let's use another washi. Just really going to town here with these circles. The thing is I'm getting to the point where I can hardly see them. That's not good. I'm going to start drawing. Let's start with yellow. I almost gave up on drawing today. I almost decided, you know what? It's too hot. I'm going to do something else for today. That's either not mixed well or something, but it's coming out not good. I have a bit of scrap paper over there to the side. Let's try mixing it some more. It could be just that it needed to be mixed some more. Yeah, I think that's all it needed. Okay, we're going to start with the yellow. I'm going to start way over here. And I'm sorry if you can't see everything I'm doing, because I just have to do what I can. Where I can, this is a very awkward setup. I will put a picture on my Instagram. I probably have already put a picture on my Instagram for this setup and how awkward it is, so that you guys can see. I don't have any room to work. I really don't. This is so awkward. But this is a big piece, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. Well, even if I did, the only way to really videotape it is to get my camera in a good position so you can see the whole thing. Every camera angle I tried, it cut something off, or it was just awkward, and it just didn't look good. So this was the best one I came up with, but I honestly can't sit. I'm not using my standing desk, so I'm kind of hunched over awkwardly. The ring light is shining me in the face, so I'm having a hard time seeing. You guys can see fine, I think, although the yellow is kind of hard to see now that I look up into the camera. But I can't see a dang thing. So I'm glad I used that sort of orange color for my pencil, because I can sort of see it. Can you guys see anything? I have no idea what you're going to be able to see and what you're not going to be able to see. And I may have to do this over a couple of days because it is getting dang hot in here again. We finally broke that super hot temperatures. We had a couple of weeks where it was like well over 100 every single day, and it got close to that temperature in my studio. Yeah, that wasn't working temperature at all. So I'm going to work a little bit on this today, and I may work on a little bit of it tomorrow. And when I edit this all together, I may put it on fast forward. I don't know. If I do, I will probably sound like a chipmunk. And I have to try to remember that I shouldn't make it go fast forward until at least 9 minutes in, because that's about where we are right now. Of course, drawing on a puzzle is a bit lumpy and bumpy, so there's that. I have to be really careful not to put my hands in it, because this pen will smear. That's not a it might. No, it will. I think I'm going to, where the things overlap, I'm going to do a bit of neurographic. Not all of them are overlapping, but I think where they do, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do multiples of colors. I want to bring in the same colors that I brought in when I spray painted this. I did do my sample one. That came out really good, but that one was missing a couple of puzzle pieces, so. FYI, a lot of content creators are posting that there's somebody going into the comments saying, taking the profile picture from the YouTube channel and saying, hey, you want a prize? Contact me via Telegram? Never heard of Telegram before. I am not up on the latest social media. But rest assured that if you ever see a comment like that on my channel, please report it, because it's not me. If I ever do a giveaway, which I don't do very often, but if I do, it will be clearly announced on a video. The rules and how to enter and how you will be contacted will be also on that video. And I won't just randomly message you in a YouTube comment. It just won't happen. Ever. And I'm pretty sure that is exactly the same policy that other YouTubers have. They may not have giveaways at all. They may have giveaways, but they will be clear with specific guidelines, and they certainly aren't going to just randomly message you in their videos. That's just not a thing any of us are doing, and at least not that I know of. So if you get that, you are absolutely getting a spam message. That's not us. So if you see that on any of the people that you watch regularly, if you see that in their comments, please report that post. These are spam bots. They're trying to get you to send them money, or yeah, usually it's trying to get you to send them money. They're usually saying something like, you won a prize, but you have to pay for shipping. That's the other thing. Every YouTuber I've ever seen who has done a giveaway, you don't have to pay for shipping. That's included in part of the prize. And that's in general for anything that you win. If you have quote unquote won a prize, whether it's through a YouTube channel, through a contest that you did for a company, through Publishers Clearinghouse, whatever it may be, if you actually have won, they will not require you to pay them anything to collect your prize. Now, they may require proof of identity in some manner, but most often it's just, you've put in they may just ask you for like your mailing address, because if you put in for a contest, that's not usually on the contest entry form. So they may ask for a mailing address or an email address if the prize is delivered digitally. For example, if you won a free class from one of the art YouTubers, if they're doing a class and they're giving away a free subscription to their class, they may ask you for your email address. But they are not, and I repeat, not ever going to ask you to send the money. And anytime you get somebody like that, you are being scammed. Do not do it. Report it to whatever, like if it's for the YouTube, report it to YouTube, report it to your content creator that's being, you're being scammed. We really have no good way to stop this. It just happens, and there's these scam bots. They're out there a lot, and we have to be more and more vigilant on these kinds of things, because as computers are getting better at spotting spam and kicking it to the curb, they have to be more and more creative. In your email, they have to be more and more creative on how to capture your attention. And if they pretend to impersonate somebody you know and trust from the internet, then they think they can get people that way. And it seems to be working. There are people who are giving money. Don't do that. Honestly, don't do that. If the person or the company has a contact us information, contact them through that email or phone number before you turn over any personal information, or you give them any money, because most places that is not the thing. Oh my goodness, this is a long stretch and I can't get any closer. Yeah, I like this neurographic bit. Same thing is anytime that there's a natural disaster, or even not natural disaster, a man-made disaster, a horrific event, that's when the scammers come out of the woodworks and say, donate here to save the something, right? And please do your due diligence to make sure that it's a legitimate company before you give your money. I'm not saying don't give money to people in need, because that is absolutely not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is to do your due diligence and make sure that when you give money, that you know where that money is going, and that it's for a legitimate cause, and that it's for a legitimate business who's actually going to give the money to the legitimate cause. I usually stick to companies and foundations that I have heard of. That's not to say that there aren't new ones coming and that they aren't good, but like I say, do your due diligence. Make sure that they're legit before you give money. There's this old lady that comes into my work. We sell gift cards, we sell MoneyGram, and she's constantly getting scammed, and I know she's getting scammed, and I try to stop it as often as I can, but I cannot convince her that she's being scammed. I just can't. I've tried. She says it's for her son, but they're always on the phone with her. They're trying to make her do things that is not possible. She's buying all sorts of gift cards, and I won't sell them to her, but I know she gets it from other places. And the other night she was trying to have a cashier's check that was written to her. It looked, supposedly was a cashier's check. I don't know. It was probably a fraudulent check. But it was supposedly written to her, and what she wanted to do was to use that check to add it to a barcode on her phone for some sort of bill pay. And the guy was on the phone with her, and she says, well, you tell him well, you can't do it, because it's not something we can do. All bill pay transactions must be done in cash. And from what I could gather, but she wouldn't tell me, she said it was her son on the phone, but I don't believe it that it was. What I could gather was that this person mailed her a check, supposedly, and that she was supposed to put that check onto some sort of PayPal account or some other, account that can be filled electronically. And that's how, I don't know. I don't know who was supposed to get the money. I don't know how it was supposed to, I don't know. She would not tell us. But it was clear to me she was being scammed. But all we can do is just tell her, no, we can't do the transaction. And that's all we can do to help her. Because I've tried talking to her and she just won't listen. And that's sad. Don't be one of those people, okay? I want one there. I want one right here in the middle. That's the big ones. And then I'm going to go for the next size down. Let's do one here. And we're going to do one here. I'm just being random. Maybe one here. I think this size would be good as well. I'm getting hot. I think I'm going to do these 2 colors, and then that's going to be it for today. And I will have to come back out tomorrow and try some more. But I am toasty. Some more little things this size. No, not there. Let's just do one here. I think I want a little one inside here. And inside here. And maybe right here. Okay. That's good. Let's see, what color do I want to do next? Let's do a light kind of aqua color. Make sure it's nice and mixed. Okay, way over here. I can almost not reach. Let's see. Did I go? I went up here, right? Ooh. That pencil's sort of making a pink color with this blue. That's all right. It is what it is. That looks weird. Not sure I like that one. I may come back and do another coat. We'll just keep going because we started. But I'm not sure I like how the watercolor pencil is mixing with this light paint. I may go over it. I probably will. Go over it with a slightly darker color. See, it's kind of turning a pink color. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's just so much stuff in my way. Okay, that's better. Here. Yeah, I'm not caring for this color. Not caring for this color. And you're probably asking me, well, if you don't like it, why are you continuing with it? Well, because I started with it and I want all of the lines that are this color to all be the same. So I want to put down this same base color that I don't like first and then cover it with the color maybe I like better. And this also will help seal in that pencil. It's not mixing well. It was fine with the yellow, but it's not making a pretty color with the blue. So a couple of weeks back when I knew I was going to do this project, I asked you guys on a poll if you wanted one long video or a couple of shorter ones. And it was pretty evenly divided at that point. I will consult it again to see if the numbers have changed. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I know it's going to be a long video. So I'm just going to see how long it turns out to be, what I can do with it. I may end up making it a two-parter. Okay, was that all of those? That was all of those. Okay, let's change that color to maybe this one instead. I put these aside because I know I've finished those two colors already. Let's do it this darker color instead. Oh, not quite dry enough. You'd think it would be dry. It's a little tacky. But it's much better. That's a better color. And you guys can see it now. We'll just go around where that was. Anywhere where there was a overlap, we'll go ahead. Oh, that's much better. I'm not doing the neurographic thing between the colors. Like, so where the blue and the yellow overlap, I'm not doing it. Only where the blue and the blue overlap. If that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. What time is it? Ugh. It's almost 12:30. I have to get ready for work anyways. And I know this will be another at least 45 minutes to an hour to do the rest of them. So this will be it for today. I don't remember in what order I did these, so hoping that I'm close to the right order so that they all have their time to dry. At least a little bit. That red watercolor pencil is still making kind of a purpley color, but it's a much better color with this color blue than the other one. The other one was too light. It was picking up too much of the red. It was making a pink, just what I didn't really plan on. Oh, there's someone at the front door. I will have to go check that. Probably just a neighbor walking by. We cut a branch off our bush out front, and ever since then we get notifications when people are just walking past on the sidewalk all the way out by the street, not anywhere near our door. We've tried changing the sensitivity on the doorbell, but it still sees the streets. It doesn't see cars going by, thank goodness. It seems to know that it's a car, not a person. But if anybody's walking past, which the neighbor does to go get the mail, and the kids do when they're walking to and from school, get lots of notifications. But then again, it could be a delivery of something and they just didn't ring the doorbell. That's annoying too. So I always check. I don't assume it's just a neighbor walking by. This one. And this one. All right. I think that's it for today. I will see you guys when I come back, which will be, I don't know, next week sometime. That just looks weird. That's okay. I'm having a hard time with the whole perspective and everything for this camera angle, but yeah, I'll put it on. Check my Instagram. Go back a few. By the time you see this, you'll have to go back a couple weeks. But check my Instagram. I will put a picture or two of my setup on Instagram. And yeah, this is awkward. Things we have to do. Nobody ever sees the behind the scenes of YouTube, but this is the things we have to do in order to do a video. But this one's very awkward, and it's going to hurt my back, so I'm not going to do it much longer. All right, you guys have a great day. I'll be back. I don't know if this is going to be the end of part 1, the end of part 2, the middle of a big long one. I have no idea. So I'm going to wish you well, and see you guys whenever I do the next whatever installment it is, whether it's attached to this one or a separate one. I don't really know. See you later.